Hey guitar players, Happy New Year, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a very useful chord voicing, this one, that actually has lots of different uses and you can use it in lots of different contexts and it has lots of meanings. So we're going to talk about that, we'll talk about how to invert it, put it on all the different string groups, and then maybe some more useful, interesting stuff a little bit later on as well. So what is this chord then? Well, we could call it one of 5 different things, depending on what our bass player is doing, basically. So if we've got an A in the bass, we'd call this A minor 6, like that. If there was a D in the bass, it'd be D9. Nice bluesy context there. We could also use it as a altered chord, A flat 7 altered, or A flat 7 flat 9 sharp 5. We could also use it as F sharp minor 7 flat 5. And then finally we could also use it with a C in the bass and use it as a C major 7 with a sharp 11, so C Lydian type thing. Okay, so lots of really useful contexts to use that one specific chord voicing. I don't know about you, but for me they were always all the difficult ones to try and remember, like lots of different chord voicings for those different situations. Now at this stage I'm going to refer you to this book, which I bought when I was in college. It's really useful. It's called The Complete Book of Harmonic Extensions for Guitar by a guy called Bret Willmott, and it's great. It's full of all of this useful stuff. Specifically, look at this page alone. This is enough to sustain you for a lifetime. Just basically this paragraph, right? In here, he refers to this this concept as chordal enharmonics, which basically means recycling. Alright, so recycling of stuff that you already know, which if you've watched my channel before, you know that I'm a big fan of, because recycling is efficiency, essentially. So to make use of this, you have to know the relationship of the shape to your given root note. So if I'm playing F sharp minor 7 flat 5, for instance, I can see that starts on my root note, which is quite nice to see, quite straightforward, that one. But if I'm playing A minor 6, I've got the 6 on the bottom here, but I do have my root note on the top there, so I could visualize it that way, which might be a little bit easier. If I'm playing D9, in a kind of funky bluesy context like this maybe, then I'm starting on the 3rd, the major 3rd. What we missed, C major 7 sharp 11, we're starting on the sharp 11 there. Or if we're playing A flat 7 altered, then we're starting on the flat 7. Okay, so in context that would be A flat 7 altered going to D flat major 7 in a perfect cadence, functional harmony type situation. Right, now here's the fun bit. Like any chord voicing, we can make inversions of this chord voicing and move it along the fretboard, across the string groups, etc., and come up with lots of places where we can play this chord. So to do this, what we're going to do is first call out the names of the notes here. So we've got an F sharp, a C, an E, and an A, like that. And what I'm going to do is move each note up to the next available note of that collection. Okay, so F sharp is going to move up here to A, C is going to move up here to E, E is going to move up to F sharp, and then A is going to move up to C, and that gives me this. So now if I repeat that process and I move up here, I end up with this one. And then one more time, I can move up to here. I'm on the 14th fret, but we could also play that down here on the 2nd fret. So 2, 2, 1, 2, like that. Okay, so all of those inversions of that chord work over all of those contexts that we discussed earlier. So if we're playing a blues, You see what I mean? Like you've got lots of different options there for a funky D9 type sound. Or in a 2-5-1 context, a good exercise would be to find a D flat major 7 nearby to each of those inversions. So you could go here and resolve down to this. That's quite nice because you've got the shared tone on the top there, like that. What about if we went up here? It's quite pretty, like that. The next step, as always, is to venture down the string groups, and you're probably familiar with this shape. F sharp half diminished here on the 9th fret on the A string. But then if you invert it up, you get this one. If you invert it down, you get this one, and then one more. So there's 4 on that string as well. So then down on the low string group, you've got this, this, and then finally. So you've basically ended up with 12 different places you can play this chord in all of those different contexts. So that's massive, right? That's an enormous amount of use that you've been able to obtain from that just by understanding the relationship between these different contexts. As always, I've got some written resources on my Patreon page, so yeah, please go and check that out if you wish to. Now here's another fun thing you can do with this. If you take 2 of these chord inversions and take a diminished 7th chord and put it in between them, so that the melody is going up like that through the scale, and then take your diminished 7th chord, send it up and down minor thirds as normal. What you get if you put these 2 things together, the 4 inversions and the diminished 7th chords, you get this. You get which is the Barry Harris 6th diminished scale, which is mega useful for lots of things, but particularly for creating harmonized melodies. Now this is useful because you can then apply some of those Barry Harris ideas to all of those different contexts. You could do it over a blues, like that type of thing. Say you were playing minor swing, this type of thing. You could do some chord melody type stuff like that as well, you know, so this works in all of these different situations. Now let's say you're playing a minor 2-5-1 in the key of E minor, for instance, which goes F sharp half diminished, B7 altered, and then E minor. Now one simple thing you could do here, which is quite cool, is take this one, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, move it up a third, minor third, that gives you B7 altered, and then send it up here to the 12th fret, and you've got E minor 6, which is quite nice. So what about if we wanted to play some chord melodies over a chord progression like that? Well, we could take that Barry Harris idea again, and we could do this type of thing. Okay, and then why not take that up and apply that to B7 altered? And then why not then apply that to E minor 6? Quite nice. Now, as I showed you in the book earlier, there are lots and lots of situations where you can recycle a chord that you already know and use it somewhere else, you know. So let me know. Write them in the comments if there's any that you've discovered, and maybe we'll talk about them in a future lesson.